Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NFT Morning Show. Today is Wednesday, May 31st, and we are back here ready to rock to talk about all things NFTs, crypto, entertainment, gaming, finance, and just about everything in between. We run this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time each and every week. Just doing it every week, man. I'm your host, P.O., here with my co-host, Nifty Nick. He'll be in and out today. Easy Eats Bodega, the Solana celebrity, the dog behind Bodogos, King Kicks representing for crypto gaming, Signal, the weather reporter extraordinaire, host of Artist Spotlight, sophisticated degenerate in her own right, Clemente, the producer behind the scenes, and then, of course, we got Bunny. Bunny, your bio just says, please send me ETH.
It's been working for everybody, dude. I need a new phone.
You just want people to send you the nominal amount of money it takes to buy a phone?
Well, there's no hard cap for this pre-sale, dude. They can send as much as they want. It's open indefinitely.
You sound better, but it sounds like you still have a little bit of a lingering cold. Oh, did I accidentally? Oh, my bad. I muted. Oh, no, that happened. That was weird.
You muted me, man. It's hard to respond. Yeah, dude, my allergies are going crazy. The guy was just mowing the lawn over here at my apartment complex. So a little sneezy today.
Put a fucking gas mask over your face and like live with it, dude. Like you're taking off 3 weeks.
Well, let me finish my joke. Sneezy Eats Bodega. That's what they call me. Sneezy Eats.
Nice. I got a crazy important question. This is like insanely important. Signal, did you watch the series finale of Succession?
Dude, that's how I started my Memorial weekend. Woke up on Monday. I was just like in front of the TV on a Monday morning. I haven't done that since Game of Thrones. That's how long it's been since I watched TV on Monday morning. I mean, no spoilers in case people are like, watching Succession later on, but that was just chef's kiss finale, like everything you want in a finale for every character. I mean, I don't know if anyone else does this, but like after you watch a show that you love so much, you then go on YouTube and go down rabbit holes of YouTube channels where people just talk about the episode and they review it and they analyze it. And you're like, is it okay? What happened to this character? And I think I was on there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I was like, okay, I'm satisfied because there was no one else to talk to. So I was just on YouTube, but it was, chef's kiss. Such a great season. I put Succession up there with like Breaking Bad, The Wire, like all the greats of what you will call something you should watch. And I think it being so capitalist and greedy, it will date well. The world will only become more greedy, and I think it will date well as a series. So yeah, chef's kiss.
Well, the funny thing is I did the same thing you did, and I can't remember the last time I did that. I got back from the Hamptons, and it was like, 1 p.m., like sunny day outside, and I was like, I think I'm going to go ahead and pop that series finale on in the middle of the day on a beautiful day and just crank that out. Then I'll go for the walk in the sun. I agree with you. It was a very well put together finish. Look, you can always pick things apart, but this one, it was just so tight since there's only 4 seasons. I agree with you. It's going to age incredibly well. I saw the Kendall meme on Twitter a little bit, like of his face when he's like staring out or whatever. And I was trying to figure out a way to like finagle
that. I saw that too.
That's like a pretty good meme. I was standing up with my hands over my face like this during the second to last scene, like the big kind of like, whoa, holy shit, this is happening scene. It was, that scene right there, Sig. The scene at the table is the best one.
You're like, what if people didn't see it yet?
No, there's no spoilers here. There's absolutely.
I mean,
there's no spoilers here. There's no spoil, and it's really funny because there's this one sentence in the episode where somebody says we're all bullshit. And if you've seen it, it makes a lot of sense. And I really feel like the last 24 hours in this space, when I think of that character and what he said, that's what I feel like we're going through now. Like we're all bullshit. This is what's happening in NFTs right now on Twitter. We're all bullshit. So yeah, if you haven't seen Succession, sorry guys that we're like talking about this, but that was the finale, so you won't hear us talk about it again. But yeah, it was very satisfying.
I want to talk about all the teenagers that are making $15,000 a month now using Chat GPT because literally, like, my feed is just filled with this bullshit.
Guess what? None of these douchebags are making anything. Their best chance to make money is off of a drop shipping scam website. That's
Like,
probably
they
their
showed
best
the introduction to it. They're like, look, it makes a website. No one has to make a website again. Like, what, like, is so, like, you just.
I have 600 clients right now. I'm making websites for all of them at the same time. I'm using ChatGPT to talk to them. How are you not as leveraged as I am? In my math class, I got to step out. I got to take a phone call with my accountant, okay? Because that's how much fucking money I'm making at the age of 15. Yeah, I have 6 girlfriends.
What's hilarious is like, is the prop.
You just throw it at the end. I have 6 girlfriends.
Is sleeping with all of them. So, so in terms of the prompts as well that they write, where they show the like screenshots of these things, it's like a sentence. It's like, take this site, make it better. And it's just like,
these guys were raised in off of like autocorrect. These guys can barely spell. You know what I mean? They think they're going to run laps on us. Like, we actually had to write with pen and paper back in the day. Okay, they got no chance with our prompt abilities.
I mean, I was thinking the other day, I was like, yeah, we actually might need a website for that thing. Now I know a 15-year-old can just chat GPT it for me, and it's just a perfect functional business-ready website for the NFT space. So the NFT space is going to be thrilled with that. Look, we're gonna get into it in a minute. I'm like super tempted to tell a story. I didn't tell Nick. I told Nick all but one story from the Hamptons weekend. I'm tempted to tell it here, but I also feel like it ain't. I don't know.
No, tell it. Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear Hampton stories.
Pio couldn't tell me in advance because he's waiting for the reaction here. So,
well, no, I forgot. I told you all the other stories, but I forgot this one. But now I'm also just like, I feel like
does
it's
this
not
one
gonna
involve sex?
No. It involves.
It's not a good story.
All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna get into the weeds here.
Tell the story. You can't like cue that up and then not tell it, but you got to deliver a banger.
Yeah, so no, I can't deliver a banger after you built it up too much. Now,
no,
so.
just deliver it. Just share it. What happened? Hey, Pio, what went down in the Hamptons?
No.
Yeah, tell us, man. We know the ratio. There were 4 boys, 2 girls, and then
what happened next?
We're just gonna get into the show right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell the story. You can't do that. You just disappointed. You have a choice right now. Either run a remarkable broadcast or run it into the wall. And if you tell the story.
All right, fine. Screw it. Let's let it go. People are gonna, no matter what, people are gonna be like, it's underwhelming. So look, I was there. It was 4 guys and 2 girls, like Signal talked about, right? And so one of my good friends is one of the 4 guys. I'm one of the other 4 guys, and then there's 2 guys that are good friends with my good friend, right? So I've hung out with these guys before, but I don't know them that well. Fun fact: the 2 girls, little detail here. Their last name is Schill, right? It's Schill. And so I was like, oh, it's spelled like SCHILL though, or something, right? Like it must be like some kind of name. They're like, no, it's spelled like SHILL. So I was like, okay, so your last name is literally Shill. So I was in the Hamptons with the literal Shill sisters, just shilling me left and right. See, look, we got Irish being like, I'm bored already. People don't want to hear this story.
Yeah, don't show your insecurities. Speak confidently, man.
All right. So one of the guys, right? I had never seen him like let loose. I'd hung out with him before, but I didn't know he was like a party animal or anything, right? And so like he was just being silly and like crazy shenanigans and stuff the night before. And then the next day we're like eating breakfast, drinking coffee or whatever. He's like lying on the couch. And, you know, when you're just like kind of bullshitting during the day, people start talking about stuff and someone goes like, Pio, have you ever been arrested? I was like, no, I haven't. They like asked one of the Shill sisters, have you ever been arrested? She's like, no, I actually haven't. My friend, one of my friends goes, oh, actually I like one time had like a drink in public. So I actually did get arrested for that. The charges got dropped, blah, blah, blah. So, not a big offense. And then we go to that guy, the guy that's like a funny bastard. And we go, what about you? And he just raises his hand up and he goes 3 times. And it's just like kind of a funny moment. And then he just goes, worst offense, kidnapping.
Oh, shit. Was it aggravated? Was it aggravated kidnapping or just normal?
as you can imagine, we're all just
That
like,
makes a difference.
excuse me? Like, what do you mean you got arrested for kidnapping? And he just goes, yeah, so like back in college, I was in a frat, and there was like one day a year where the game was the brothers try to kidnap the pledges, and the pledges try to
That
kidnap
happened to
the
me.
Totally normal, to be completely honest. Pretty expected.
That's rough.
Okay.
You got a kidnapping charge on that.
So it was him and three other brothers, like gang, or him and two other brothers, gang of three of them, and they were kidnapping pledges, and they'd already toe tagged two different pledges that day, so they got two bodies under their belt already. He's like, yeah, so we just put him into an apartment, figured worry about him later, and then they're driving. They have another target. They heard about where he is, so they're driving to get the third kidnapping of the day. They got two bodies.
Are they wearing masks?
I don't think they were wearing. I think it was so normal to them. They've done it multiple times, multiple years, that I think they're just broad day, just going around, right? They're going for another person, and then but they just see a target walking down the street, like happen to be walking down the street. So they're like, "Oh, perfect, one's right there."
Target.
Yeah.
Like, I like how you're
What they say, like a bird in the bush is worth two in the bag or whatever.
They got two bodies. They're up in the. They're literally just fucking hogtied.
Literally hogtied.
Well, bro, he said a toe tag. Like you just picture them actually like tagging this dude, like got him piercing his ear and put a tag on the guy. Like, yeah, he's ours.
But just the way he described it, it sounded like he had done it so many times. He's just like, he's like, yeah, I just figured we'd leave him in the apartment, deal with him later. But anyway, so they're driving for someone that they heard is somewhere, but they see a different guy just walking down the street, and they're like, all right, perfect. No hesitation. They pull the car over, jump out, chase the guy down, handcuff him behind his back, like, tie his legs, and carry him into the car. A regular woman, like non-college student, regular woman, witnesses this and is completely horrified, immediately calls the police. Police she gets the license plate. Police chase the car down, pull him over, draw guns at the car, and are like, get out of the vehicle. They go to rescue the kid that had been kidnapped, and they didn't know he had his hands behind his back. And so they go to pull him out of the car. They just kind of drag him out. They didn't know he didn't have his hands. He just face plants down onto the concrete because his hands are behind his back. Just smashes his face off the ground.
So the cops fucked him up worse than the kidnapping itself, dude.
Exactly. Cops end up arresting all four, including the kidnapped
Even
kid.
the victim?
Yeah, even the victim. And the kidnapped kid's dad was like a cop in a different district. And so when he got his phone call, he's like, Dad, I got kidnapped and they arrested me. So the dad calls the cops there and was like, my kid got kidnapped and you arrest him? What the hell is this, And I forget, the way they got out of it, he was just like, yeah, they booked us for a court date, but it was like on a holiday Monday. And so we just like got off. And I was just like, you sound pretty lucky that happened.
Or that you have an active bench warrant that you're not aware of. Because usually they're just not like, oh, we scheduled it on a holiday. Lucky for those kids.
He's like, once they figured out what it was, they like reduced it to disorderly conduct. But we dug into it a little bit. Yeah. They were like, oh, yeah, the kidnapping happened all the time. One guy that day, they ended up just keeping him in the basement of one of the apartments, feeding him mustard. And I was just like, you guys are so weird with this stuff.
Surprisingly has high calories. Pio, first of all, great story. I'm glad you shared that.
That was a good story. That was a really good story.
After being in a frat myself, I can guarantee you when they had the frat meeting after the kidnapping charges, I can almost guarantee that instead of saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't kidnap people anymore, they're probably like, okay, guys, from now on, like we only can kidnap people at night because broad daylight kidnapping.
100%.
That's when old women
at
are
night
out.
and on the weekends is probably what they said.
At night and on the weekend, we got it. But they were serious about it. Yeah, they were like, we really got to clamp down on the kidnapping only in these certain hours going forward.
One little fun tidbit before we get into the show. That dude is a medical device salesperson for urology.
Clearing $260K a year easily.
No, but think about it. Like, you think this guy doesn't have funny urology stories as a urology salesperson? It's ridiculous. Anyway, all right, here we go. Maybe we'll tell more. All right. Anyway, this show today is sponsored by Ninjalerts. So stay ahead of the NFT trading game.
Technology for you. Are you looking to kidnap? I don't know.
If you
Children.
want to kidnap NFTs off the floor, you know who did it before you. Check out Ninja Alerts right now. Get those push notifications and your ass won't be going to jail.
Beautiful.
If you want to steal some gains, broad daylight.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you right now, what Easy just did, I'm so proud right now as someone that's been working with Easy as a broadcaster for a while. You just witnessed, so they talk about turning pro. You just witnessed, it's like Chimp Empire when all of a sudden the chimp is officially, you know, like a potential candidate for the
No one
alpha
else
position.
has seen that show, man, so we can't get the reference. But also, I think it's his mustache.
Oh,
It's a
I mean,
superpower, bro. The mustache it does it to you. The brain starts working faster.
The mustache is a monster move. Anyway, today's show is sponsored by Ninjalerts. This is Trevor Owens, you know, friend of mine, friend of the show, co-host of the Bitcoin show's business. He's the CEO and founder of this thing. Stay ahead of the NFT trading game with Ninjalerts. I mean, they were our first sponsor ever. They were literally the Nifty's first sponsor ever.
The website looks so badass now, Pio.
Yeah, they've crushed it. We're gonna have their dev on. He's a badass. He's a cool guy too. He lives in Brooklyn. Oh, I don't know if I was supposed to dox his location.
He lives right down the street, and his social security number is this. Hey, if you're looking to toe tag your favorite NFT.
Anyways, look, hey, I'm happy to be back, ladies and gentlemen. I missed yesterday's show because I was preparing for the very important Bitcoin show. We had the big important guests, and you know, it's a very serious show. I'm glad to be back on the real show right now. Anyway, don't worry about user limits because you can add as many wallets and contracts as you want. And if you don't know where to start, Ninjalerts offers pre-configured contracts and wallets to track. I believe me and Nick's bullshit wallets are available to track. Like, you can just track our just terrible trading habits. You can also track Easy and Kicks as they maneuver through the market. Maybe even Signal. I wouldn't even be surprised if Signal's on there. Anyway, with their lifetime license NFT, you're able to use Ninjalerts as long as you'd like. And if you ever step away from trading, you can resell it to recoup costs. I remember after we dropped it, it was like a good trade to just buy during that period. If you minted it, it was like a good mint and flip, you know? That's the coolest part about Web3 software is if you have this asset, you can just sell the thing. Anyway, check out the link in the pinned tweet. Trevor's going to come through to not even talk about Ninjalerts for like a half hour before we get to the meat and potatoes Ninjalerts interview, because Trevor's like Mr. BRC20, Mr. Bitcoin Ordinals, and you know, Ordinals is super hot right now. But anyway, we're 7 minutes overdue for this weather report, but I think it was worth it. Signal, please take it away.
Absolutely, folks. GM, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 31st of March, last day of the month. Let's see what's been going on in the markets. We've got total market volume coming in at 28 million. Blur still up there at 13 million, while OpenSea just hovering around 5.5. Onto leaders, there's been some changes. Apes are at 45.4. You got Mutants just trying to creep back up to 10. It's at 9.7. Punks 52. Boom, boom. And that floors nicely near 100K. Azuki back up over 15. D-Gods just sort of staying stable around 8.5. While Captain's 9.1 on the march till 10, and then Pudgies are at 4.9. Over the past 24 hours, well, let's look into the story. We've got Other Side Meta announced that Other Deed expanded. That is your game board, and there's going to be allies who will help you in the battle to defend against the Shattered. There's going to be select third-party PFP collections who will be able to participate in the game and gather treasures. Speculation is rife as to who that is going to be. Onto the sweeps of the market. Well, we've had some big sweeps yesterday. Obviously, one was Azuki. That's one that brought the floor back up over by 1 ETH. And the bats do open and the bats do Opepens. The floor on the unrevealed Opepens is now almost at 1 ETH. And a wallet spent 60 ETH buying up Opepens bats do. So incredible run on unrevealed Opepens off the back of this collab with bats do. Onto the art side of the market, well, artist OSF has announced that the next feature he will be the next feature for the super rare Genesis pass. If you remember back in November, the super rare passes, closed out at 17 ETH on a Dutch auction. They've gone as low as 14, but now they're back up to 22 ETH. So it'll be interesting to see how the collection goes. And lastly, morale on Twitter hit a new low yesterday after people were donating money for iPhones, sent more than $1 million to random wallets with nothing in return. And minters were rugged by an artist on Twitter who's by an artist on Twitter who's pretending to have cancer. So a bit of a low happening at the moment. But onto crypto, let's see what's going on there. BTC up at 27, ETH at 1.8, Solana just hanging around the 20, and ape just sliding back down towards 3. So crypto pretty steady, some movers up, some movers down, but all in all, I'd say we've got some gray clouds at the moment in the past 24 hours, but still lots of positive things happening. Back to you folks.
Fantastic weather report as usual, Signal, and great to have you back. Updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, which is the daily newsletter. You should subscribe at thenifty.com. If you want to claim today's free NFT, you have to have an account on that platform, thenifty.com, and you'll also obviously subscribe to the newsletter in the process. On-Chain Monkey has rescheduled the launch of their Ordinals OCM Dimensions project to June 15, 2023, citing the need for multiple technological advancements needing to be made prior to the launch. That is a hyped-up drop.
Our flux capacitor isn't working. We got to go get a new, time travel spacesuit before we can launch this. The technology's just not there yet, but 2 more weeks.
Welcome to Web3. I mean, the joke you just made, Kix, I actually love, because people in Web3 act like they're like crazy. I'm a technologist, I'm like, bro, you're like developing software.
You're like a programmer, dude.
Yeah, and which is obviously technology, but then you go to like the Tesla headquarters and they're like, yeah, so we've got this solar battery that's gonna like that's kind of like more of a
I worked like 98 hours this week on like how to create a new metal out of cobalt.
When I lived in LA, I met a Python engineer at SpaceX, and his job was to go in and make sure that everything that Python touched in the rocket was good to go before it went up. And I was like, how does that work? And he just really seriously said, I get 30 minutes with the rocket. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a big job, buddy.
Then you watch like in the movies and he like slow touches and he's
everything
like,
Python touches in the rocket.
Look, I'm not here. Here we go, Kix. We got a technologist from Web3 right here. Here we go.
Real nerd.
And I look at it and I say, it looks like a Python wrapped around that thing.
So, Nick, who's a bigger technologist? You developing smart contracts and websites in Web3, or people that are making rocket stuff at SpaceX? Who's more of a hardcore technologist?
Definitely me. So what I was going to say, obviously this person is, but the way that it is presented is that someone who's coding Python says, I get 30 minutes with the rocket, to me just seems like, what?
Too much or too little?
Well,
you don't want to know what they're doing in those 30 minutes, Chief.
So like maybe he's like plugging in some controller to analyze like some system that's going on. But yeah, I don't know.
Just saying. Anyway, other than that, 8 months after the initial mint, Artifact's Rimowa physical suitcase forging event is live. So basically, if there's a forging event announced, ladies and gentlemen, that is an 8 to 14 month wait every time. I want to make sure that everybody fully understands that.
It's summer, so it's actually perfect time for the suitcases to come out. I mean, not everyone goes away in winter, but if you wait a year, Rimowa suitcases appear, you go away in August. It's all right.
Yeah, Pio, they're still waiting on like the technology to catch up a little bit.
The suitcase technology. Nice. Anyway, the holders of the Rimowa collectible are able to forge the NFT to receive the physical suitcase this summer, along with the matching NFT. Look at that. Big news, I guess. Anyway, we're going to go into the meat and potatoes of the show. Reminder to go to thenifty.com and connect both your Ethereum and your Solana wallet. Thenifty.com, connect your ETH wallet, connect your Sol wallet. Nick, anything to add on that?
No, go there, connect it. It's an important thing. You can go to thenifty.com/settings once you're logged in, and you can connect your wallets there. The most important thing is, especially if you own a portal. If you own a portal, we probably should say it at the beginning of the show, so those that don't stick through the kidnapping bit actually are reminded of it, because some people just may not be into kidnapping stories. I'm just saying. Although majority of people, I think, are. because that's a really popular subgenre. Is sort of like true crime sort of stuff. I'm not like
those
into
miniseries go hard, bro. When Netflix or Hulu drops a fire miniseries on some intense crime, 4 episodes, I'm all in.
Dude, my grandma used to like watch these types of shows, and I was like, Grandma, what are you doing with your time over here watching this sort of thing? And now I'm like,
Your grandma now.
I'm scrolling through Netflix, and I'm like, oh, true crime, yeah. What? Oh, so what? There's a new one that. Well, actually, I don't even want to say if it's so disturbing. But like,
oh, you never talk about them in public because then people look at you a little funny. Like, you watch that for entertainment? Like,
Well, women love them. More women watch them than men.
And so the ones that are most common is women. I don't want to get into it, man. It's pretty messed up. But there was one that I saw that was essentially like it pops up and it's like these women were assaulted and they reported it to the police. And then the police later came back and charged them with false whatever it is with
accusations.
False accusations. And they got charged and arrested after they were victims of these crimes, basically. And it happened on a repeated basis within this like specific whatever place and district. I have no idea. But essentially, I watched the preview and I'm like, do I want to spend my time to watch this particular thing? Also, what a tangent from connecting your wallets on with.
Did you guys, real quick, did you guys watch the Robert Durst one on HBO? You remember that one?
Yes.
Robert. That one was like, I felt like that was a viral one. Like that was like
viral, and the Tinder swindler was the one that went hyper viral.
Popular, yeah.
Yeah, that one was like because I think it wasn't like as violent. Like
it's not violent crime, it's scamming.
But you know what's not a crime? Connecting your wallet to the Nifty.
Look at this pro. Look at this pro, man.
Nifty.com/settings. You're gonna want to go over there, connect your ETH wallet, connect your Sol wallet. Why? That's how we're going to generate the allow list for people who own their portals. Well, it's one of the ways that we're going to do it. And so that's the way you're going to want to get in there. We haven't even released the details other than a tweet pinned to the Bodagos NFT account. Bodagos NFT. It's pinned to the top. If you're interested in minting Bodagos, you can just visit that tweet. But also, connect your wallets. Look, there's no risk in doing it. Also, someone says, can we disconnect after connecting? No, that's not how software works. Sorry. When the thing I was going to say is you can also use delegate cash for Ethereum. Apparently, Solana users are already used to the idea of setting up separate wallets. That's how they end up doing it.
Takes half a second. They just make a quick burner wallet, connect it, they label it, the usual stuff. It's all in the same wallet too.
But if you have a portal on Ethereum, then you're going to want to use Delegate Cash. If you're concerned about, if you don't trust us,
literally, if you don't trust Nick and me, like, okay, the master plan.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to steal
all your money
that we sell you. That's our new business, and then we're going to sell it back to you for double.
Yeah, right.
Get ready to sweep the floor. All right, so look, let's get into it. We're going to talk about ordinals when Trevor pulls up, but real quick. So I guess we can touch on this thing about the Pixel Penguins.
We should talk about the Legends of Mara thing because I got one speculation on it. That's the bigger thing, the heavy metal thing, and the other deed expanded. What I think is most interesting is my play for this is to look at all the projects that have retraced from 10 KTF in Battletown, because I think those are going to be the projects that are the ones that get you additional things. So, like, honestly, even a cool cat may sound crazy, but I think that there's an opportunity there because they have not ran as much. But basically, anything to get a leg up in that is where I'm most interested.
Are you buying the 10 KTF asset or the cool cat itself?
No, the actual PFP is what I believe is going to play into it. I do think the Gucci ones, the Gucci Grail PFPs, will be able to be used as well because in Battletown, those did actually give an extra boost. So I think there's something there.
Those served as the Gucci Grail things.
You got a Gucci cloth on top of it. So you ended up getting a more valuable asset by participating in Battletown with those. And they gave a multiplier because they were the 10 KTF, like part-time PFP for now.
Very nice. Okay. Well, I like that.
We've got the G tags, which
yes.
are going to become the PFPs. So that's definitely a collection that could possibly run. People were talking about what was it, moonbirds, but it's not a moonbird on the constellation. It's what's it called, a loven, which is like an other side pet. And then I think the 10 KTF is like spot on, as like those could be the partner, so like some of the partner collections. And then what else? There was I've forgotten. Sorry, my mind's gone blank. But easy, carry on with your theories.
Yeah, I mean, that's just where I'm at. Because when I was reading that thread yesterday, I was like, yes, finally some speculation, some opportunities to make trades on this. Dude, what's going to drive me insane is I literally said I want another dude expanded at 0.7, even slightly under, and a vessel at 0.3. They both hit the price target, and I did the one thing I'm notorious for and didn't
buy it. Yeah.
I
now
think
they're
vessels
both
are still
slightly
0.3. At least when I
0.37
rolled out of
area.
bed.
Yeah, they're like 0.37 area, I think.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm up, baby. I blur from those.
Smart. But the game is what I'm most interested in because you can use multiple vessels for land. So like that's where I think vessels end up running versus buying like the one like a coda per se. I think there's like different ways to game this, and that's something I'm really looking at is how do we actually play this game and run this move. So I'm starting to like try to build a strategy on how I plan to actually like mitigate the game when it releases, because Dookie Dash made people so much money just by playing the game. So if you can come up with a quality strategy and then delegate cash for other people, you can print on this. So that's something that I'm like starting to really try to figure out.
Nick's gonna get nerdy on this game.
Well, so real quick on one thing that you guys mentioned, the G tag. The reason I think that that one is particularly interesting is for a few reasons. It is an ERC 1155 as it stands now in the 10 KTF stockroom collection. The 10 KTF stockroom collection, everyone on this show just knows all too well. If you're a 2021 NFT market participant, you absolutely know about 10 KTF, the 10 KTF stockroom ecosystem. You know about it. They're all ERC 1155s. They'll typically fade in value over time. For example, look at this, probably leather is now 0.099 ETH. And that's with ETH, you know, at sub $1,900 or whatever. Whereas at $3,500, $4,000 ETH, Kix was buying this at 0.3, right? So these things have faded over time, big time, lost a ton of value.
Still holding that Kix. Jesus Christ.
What?
The way that was meant, it was like, let me play back one of the worst trades if Kix had held it.
Dude, I crushed these shit. Well, first of all, Quad told me to buy G tags at like 0.4. I sold all mine at 1. So I'm out of the G tag game.
They ran to 1. And the reason I think the G tags are interesting is like there's a case to be made that potentially the profile picture will be by Beeple. Beeple just dropped more pieces with that Gary V gift goat drop. So clearly Beeple is game to increase his supply. Before that gift goat drop, the supply was pretty damn tight. I know a guy that owns Giga Chad, and I just offhandedly asked him, I was like, do you know like how many Beeple pieces are out there? And right off the top of his head, he knew the exact number. So the art collectors, the Beeple people, they know the supply, right? But Beeple clearly is he's down to do a lot of wacky stuff like pump Nakamikos over and over again. Say he's not pumping shit coins, but tweet about him 20 times. So if the G tag is a Beeple PFP, it's interesting because ERC 1155s aren't on Blur. So you're not getting a Blur farming or Blur audience that's buying this asset. And that's actually, it is good for the asset if you have a whole pool of Blur buyers buying it. And so the G tag, once it turns into the profile picture, could absolutely be something that ends up running. It's only at 0.5124. The problem is it's so hard to know whether this is a good price. It's $957 US right now. I don't know if buying it here is a good price because the 10 KTF stockroom collection and the 10 KTF ecosystem in general it can just be so weird. It's really only ever had one super strong pump, and that was when the Genesis bags went up to like 1.5 Ethereum.
It was the same day they announced that you were getting the PFP. Was why they did the little graphic that said like it had like a little puzzle, like a maze, and at the end of it was PFP. And like the people love, like the one thing I got to continue to give credit to 10 KTF is every Thursday they drop something. You know, you're getting it on Thursday. It may not be a lot, but it's something. And they've done such a good job continuing that pace that it's tough to really like fade. They leave like sleepers in it. They leave like clues throughout the images. People get really, really into the story of it.
Bullshit clues where they're just like, oh, I got a good one today.
Yeah.
We're going to throw in.
Here's a Nakamigo on a wanted poster. Let's send the floor to 2 ETH.
The word gems. We're gonna put that on there, and people are gonna go crazy. Let me tell you, they're gonna
This
go.
guy looks
crazy
like he's got burning.
And they go
Man.
crazy.
This looks like this was created by Photoshop's new generative AI.
Oh my God. Let's disrespect the 10K TF contracted artist. So, okay, well, fair enough. We'll see what happens with the G-Tag collection. Moving on to Ether. Very anticipated drop. Easy.
Never heard of it.
What do we need to know about Ether?
Kicks, you've never heard of Ether?
Hold
Nah,
on,
it's just like, why would you name it Ether? Because like then it sounds like Ethereum, and every time I hear
this
it,
project's
it's
been
like,
in the work for a year.
No, I've
a
heard.
year.
I've definitely heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're an underground. Like those dudes are one of like the 3 groups who got a allow list for it.
But you know who created it, right?
Vitalik Buterin.
No, Metaversal. It says a Metaversal project at the top.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I just know the artist is VII, and people regard him as like a really strong artist in this space, and has continued to do a bunch of like fascinating things so far about it, and it's been hyper secretive. They've only given out allow list spots to people like publicly on the timeline, like tweeting at them and like then DMing them, here's a whitelist spot. It's been hyper aggressive for people trying to get spots, and insanely selective on who they give them out to. There was only, I think, 3 alpha groups who got them. It was a big reason the Momentum Alpha Pass ran at the start, was because if you bought the pass, you got a guaranteed spot. So people immediately like, yeah, everyone heard about Momentum that way because they were pricing the pass at 3 ETH just for this drop. But then it has since kind of like subsided because of like the lack of things kind of being delivered on it. But they have a really interesting dynamic where they're selecting 1,000 of the NFTs, where if you guarantee to lock it up for, I think it's either 6 months or a year, so it does not even hit your wallet, it's free. They're giving it to you completely for free. If you don't and you want it first day, it's 1 ETH.
I think this is interesting that like Metaversal figured out how like proper NFT marketing operates and the mystery associated with it. And hearing Easy, I would describe as like representative of people that are actively trading the NFT space, because Easy actively trades. And I think from that standpoint, like it's interesting to hear the commentary surrounding this, which to me feels heavily motivated by the messaging and marketing strategy that Metaversal chose to do this time. Whereas last time it was, look at these Hollywood producer creators, whatever. And we've seen time and time again, people don't like that shit. Like,
the NFT space certainly does not like that.
Hates when you have a qualified team, basically. Like when you're like, look at this team that's so qualified, with an exception.
Dude, if there's like a bunch of Emmys, then the Momo Guru will mint out at like a half ETH. That was the name of it, right? Momo Guru.
Momo Guru. I think it was 0.2 or 0.3. Pumped
it's
to
at
0.08
right now.
Yeah, pumped to 0.7. But I think part of that was like there was a lot of speculation that they would be quick to move on like a show because their animations were great beforehand, and it just took forever.
It's all about that speculative narrative that you can drive associated with it, because you just said it. Who was the artist? VII?
Yeah, V.
But hold
on.
No
one knows who it is. No one knows.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about.
But they just like the art is the thing.
Like mastered this. The result is that it's the #1 most hyped project according to Giancarlo buys tokens, his newsletter. Yeah, Mentor Skip. And I just look at this and I say, holy shit, this is brilliant. Like we've like cracked the nut on the marketing approach that really drives intrigue, interest, and speculative drive like in the NFT space. The NFT market hates real shit.
Yep.
Like they hate real shit. Like that's something that you got.
Some of that's shifting though. Like I would say, like Pudgy's IRL toys was a sign of deliverability that really got people excited and happy.
Pump on the news, basically.
Yeah, but even then, like you also have to think like it's just part of the market cycle we're in is not new market participants. So people then try to capitalize or bought high and try to sell. Like the Elon tweet sent Milady's to 9 ETH. Like,
well, that's a very specific situation, and that project was already doing well.
Yeah, and it was doing well, and then that obviously Nakamigos, every time Beeple tweets it, catches a short-term pump, and like even in the bull that happened. But I just think part of this too is like to Nick's point, people like to speculate, and they only like when things are delivered when they're not expecting them. They don't like being told what they're about to get and then getting it. They like to get something they were not expecting and then being happy about it or some result.
Dude, I'm reminded of like Bill Burr's stand-up where he just shits on Philadelphia. And I genuinely think that that's how the NFT market wants to be treated, basically, is just like abused, you know? Like, and so that approach works really well.
Look at what happened yesterday with the real quick. I mean, if you look into like the mentality of people that like wither away at casinos, I think that's like the exact, that's the same chord that's being struck in the minds of the people that are literally sending people that are on Twitter money like for no reason.
I went on a mean rant on this morning on my space. Yeah, mean rant. It probably took 15 minutes to just like vent about this. I was like, this thing pissed me off at first. And then I realized, why do I care? The casino people show up every day with $20 in hopes of making 400. It's the same thing we're seeing in this space. Someone had 7.9 ETH, sent 7 ETH. They can't be saved. You can't save these people. There's no reason I should even be worried about it. I shouldn't care. I should just let them make this action because degenerates are going to be degenerates. And eventually they get washed out, just like the casino does. So I ended up just going and being hyper productive last night instead of listening to a space where 7,000 people repeated the same exact BS messaging and stressing about it.
That's my whole thing, Easy, man. He's like, I don't.
We just had a breakthrough for Easy. Easy just came and realized, had one of the most important realizations as it applies to productivity is you're not missing shit most of the time.
I didn't miss jack shit. I woke up this morning, read a recap thread, and was like, you know what? I'm fucking happy. I crushed last night. I was sending notifications to the two of you at like 11 p.m. Like, this is done. Took care of this. Let's go. I was on it. It was a good time.
Yeah. My whole thing is like, dude,
every day, and now you know what it's like to have a job.
Wait a minute. All right, we're not gonna go that far, dude. Let me push back a little bit. You're getting in front of your skis here.
My whole take on this whole thing is, first of all, I don't give a shit whether people spend their money on, dude. I don't wake up every morning and I'm like, I don't think about people spending their money on crack rocks. Like, why do I give a fuck if they're sending money to some wallet to try to make some money? What I actually do hate, I don't hate that at all. I don't give a shit about that. What I do hate is all these threads that I see this morning that is like, we all came here for revolutionary technology. And I'm so disappointed with how bad things have gotten. And we've gone so far away from what brought us all here together. Yada. Bro, dude, I created a MetaMask wallet on December 24th. I put 10K in it. I got rugged twice out of the gate. It was down to 4K in 7 days. Like, dude, what are you saying? Like, you act like we were in like the Garden of fucking Eden 2 years ago, and like someone bit the apple a couple months ago, and now we're all fucked, dude. Like, this is how the space has been since day one. Like, Pixelmon minted out for $70 fucking million in 45 minutes. You think I give a shit that like Ben.eth like convinced some people to send them a couple $1 million?
OXBT got a milli, Ben.eth got like 7, and then the situation last night with the Penguin scam, which is fucked, I will say, like saying you have cancer to capitalize on money. People, like, when I first heard, I thought that person made like millions of dollars. They made 20 ETH, like, just for context, by the way. So like people are like grifter, like people scam, it's shitty, etc.
It was a tiny amount of money.
If you want to help people with cancer, fucking donate to St. Jude's, dude. Like, how have you been on the
giving
internet?
block? Pick anybody you want to. You can donate crypto, and it's a tax write-off. Like, if you want to do that, go do it, and they can't rug you. It actually goes to the foundation.
Not enough people played RuneScape, man. Not enough people played RuneScape. Like, I lost my leg in a lawn mowing accident. Yeah, like I lost my leg in a lawn mowing accident, and I don't have money for the
trimming armor for free. Pull up.
Okay, the RuneScape boys that talk at the same time. Bunny, you have your hand raised. What's going on, Bunny?
I thought the
most
bizarre.
I'm just kidding.
God damn it, Nick.
I'm just messing around. Go ahead.
I thought the weirdest thing with this scam yesterday was like, right, if she deleted her Twitter, if she just never tweeted again after thanking everybody, like in 24 hours, everybody would have forgotten. No one would have gave a shit. Like, I don't understand why she would just delete the whole account.
Yeah, she should have done what the Weird Wales 13-year-old kid did, who had his dad program it all for him, and then he acted like he was.
You mean what his dad did?
Yeah, and then he just disappeared into the night, and I was the one that got the hate for saying I don't believe this fucking kid. And they're like, "Oh, that's fucked up, man. He's 13 years old." You never. I've met a 4-year-old that's a fucking full-blown liar. You think a 13-year-old can't be a liar? You know what I mean?
The first ever woman-founded NFT project was Russian men, right? Like, so, like, I don't understand. Like, not much has changed.
Exactly. Well, the thing that was the worst is what Kick said was like, whenever you called somebody out,
You got canceled.
Immediately, people are like, "How dare you? How dare you say that about the people in the NFT space? This is a good child. This is a good child.
Yeah,
how dare
exactly.
you?"
And then the meta continues. I remember a month later, like the age kept getting younger, like Easy's buy-in price on captains. Like the next thing I know, I'm on a Twitter Spaces, and this kid's
We
like
got him for
4.5
0.4
years old. This kid's 4.5 years old, and he knows how to
Gary
code in
Gary
Python.
V dropped an NFT with like a 3-year-old girl.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's next? Like, this baby came out of the womb 6 minutes ago and is launching our first NFT project. We all should support young people in the space.
Signal, you wanted to get a word in
No,
here.
I just loved Kix's analogy of like the Garden of Eden, and we all ate the apple and the place exploded. But basically, the moral of the story is, if you want to scam, you need to do a Kaiser Soze. You just need to like disappear, and then you can get away with it. But like, yeah, no, I mean, easy. Like, I totally agree with you. Like, what you focus on Twitter is can be quite like igniting inside. It can just make you feel like this is all bullshit. Like, but then at the end of the day, it's kind of like our own fault for like constantly doom scrolling and constantly going into the threads. And at one point, you just have to switch off the app and just be like, look, the world isn't fair. There are people working harder out there, and there's some people who can put up a Twitter address, and then money will just appear. But I definitely believe that what goes around comes around, and like you see it every day in life. There is a very famous ex-entrepreneur going off to federal prison today because of her former company, which is
another great mini
The Blood
series.
Lady?
Yeah, Theranos. Another great
Theranos.
mini theories. Absolutely great.
Killer.
Elizabeth Holmes took the bass out of her voice. Now, if you listen to the interviews, she just totally sounds different. No more black turtleneckes. But I'll tell you what, you got to watch that. That's a good one.
I wanted to hear her actual voice, and I couldn't find those because I was like,
I'll do it for you right here. We're raising hundreds of millions of dollars.
For old one, I'm talking
We're
about.
raising $100
Wait,
million
I don't know
to
about-
speed up the efficiency of blood testing.
Oh, I don't know about
She
this
changed her
voice
to
subplot.
sound more like dominant as
Dude,
a
she
businesswoman.
didn't sound like a real person though. It was like so obviously fake.
It was like PO. It was like if you punch someone in their larynx and then like ask them to give you like a speech, and like you don't know exactly how it's gonna change everything. But
Like,
she
I'll
kinda-
link you the new voice because it's wild. It's like, oh, like you're an actual human.
So,
She
so
should've been there.
yesterday, the scammer of scammers, Andrew, whatever his name, got slandered basically, and then got told you have to make a donation in order to like make up for your sins.
absolve your sins.
Because
What was the bit about the art teacher though? That's the bit I didn't get. He said that he
He spoke to her art
the art
teacher.
teacher.
Yeah, spoke to her like mentor art teacher. And can
Which
verify.
this is how it went down. He calls her phone. Oh, hey, it's the art teacher. It's not me. It's the
It is me, the art
she's at
teacher.
she's at her treatment right now. How can I help you? She's a great artist, a great person. Like,
dude, the thread was hilarious on it. It was like if you read the thread and you were like, oh, I really buy into this. This is emotional. Then you're kind of dumb associated with it. But I feel bad for Andrew because he just keeps like it feels like face planting directly into these things.
Well,
like,
it feels like he's being targeted.
well, yeah, he's being and I don't understand what is that. Is his business just promoting coins? Is
I
that
was gonna say, I think it's like my thing when I hear this stuff is people have too much time on their hands, and people are like spending time doing things that probably aren't like what they should be spending time doing. Like, what do you mean you talk to her art teacher?
$50,000 got stolen, which trust me is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, millions and millions of dollars in the past like week have been stolen from people.
well, like the other problem too is that he didn't just say like, hey, this is a cool project, you support it. As someone said in the chat, he literally said, I will put my reputation on the line. Generally, when you say that, and then less than 24 hours later, it comes out it's a full-blown scam. It's not going to blow over very quickly. It's going to take a little bit of time. But I can tell you what happened. He looked in his message requests on Twitter. Never do that. Never do that. There's not one legitimate person in your message request on Twitter. He was probably feeling bad one day, open it up, and someone was like, hey, my art teacher from Ukraine who lost its leg in like an IED explosion is now in my village teaching me how to do art, and I magically got cancer, and I was wondering if I could speak to you for 5 minutes. That's how this probably began in Twitter message requests. Never go in there, never respond to anybody in there. and you'll save yourself the trouble that Andrew Wang is in today.
Bunny, your hand's raised.
So if you look at Zach's thread too, there were people who were calling her a scammer like last year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can move on from this. One funny note, like back to Kix talking about the 10-year-old kid from 2021. That was during what I'll call Kix's rise to prominence. It was when he went by sophisticated art speculator. And he was the only, I'm going to say the only guy in the NFT space that was throwing around a significant amount of money in a really reckless way. And it was working. So people were like, this guy's nuts. Like he was being reckless. There were plenty of people throwing a lot of money around, but no one was doing it in such an outward reckless way. And then they tried to cancel him over calling the 10-year-old kid that did rug a scammer. Later that year, someone tried to cancel me for calling out Art Chick as a scammer when Art Chick is obviously a scammer. So anyway, moving on from calling out scammers.
She's still out there tweeting. Like Beanie disappeared.
Right.
Beanie was like,
well, Beanie's running the Art Chick account now.
no, well,
And listening to this show right now on a burner. I wonder if he listens on YouTube, Twitter, or Apple or Spotify podcasts. I don't know which one.
Probably Apple.
Probably he's an Apple guy
at this point, and like just chilling. Like he made so much money
off
the Pixel Vault that
he still retweets Pixel Vault stuff. I see him. He still he still retweets it. Yeah, which is strange because I thought they fell out. But anyway,
I mean, when you got bags, you got bags. You're gonna hit that quick little button, pump it to the top of the timeline. You still got a couple 100,000 followers. Why not get the impressions?
Well, the thing is, I mean, he tried to come back, but then the space burnt him at the stake that he had to like leave. Otherwise, you have to exit so fast. But like we say, new characters, new villains are happy to come and be the main stage. And right now, it's the people that we all know. And in 4, 5, 6 weeks time, so by September, it will be someone new. There's all these new characters. There's always going to be new characters. Always going to be new scams. And at the end of the day, it might feel unfair, but just like fuck it. Doesn't matter. Just carry on doing what you're doing, and one day it will pay off. That's it.
Absolutely. So easy on the Solana side. So we got Mad Lads continuing to hold, really doing quite well, right?
Yeah,
Mad Lads doing quite well.
It's good to see. It's got me excited. Like that's one that has just some cool tech. And like, I'm a huge fan of Armani. He does what he calls Sunday service every Sunday, does a Twitch stream and just talks about like, that's how they roll out their updates. It's just a consistency. Like clearly the space does value like some level of transparency and I guess building in public when it comes to like those streams where he takes an hour every Sunday, posts a tweet, says Sunday service, and then a bunch of the Mad Lads join and he just talks about what they're doing. Even if it's just like business operations, they just announced they're moving out of Chicago. Haven't disclosed where, but like their team does operate out of a centralized office, like very traditional business kind of play. But it's great. So
to see. Are they US based?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So they are in the US for Backpack. The wallet itself is the actual product. The other thing too that's really interesting is Claynosaurz dropped another 400 NFTs as a batch of their additional 2,000 through the Saga phone. So they're doing 5 batches of 400, and if you own the Solana phone, you're the only one who has the opportunity to mint it. It's a free mint. They immediately went to a 52 soul floor. It actually ended up sending the primary Claynosaurz collection up to 60 because they're putting these in a separate collection. What they've announced on this is that there's going to be some separation there slightly on the two. Like this is kind of like their second tier from the primary collection. But it's been really interesting to see just a lot of projects that people keep saying like Sol's somewhat quiet. It's still doing 1.5 to 2 million volume a day. We got a ton of hype coming up this next month. Some great projects launching. We got something cooking. So I'm personally excited, obviously. Maybe you could call it bias, but I do think that there's a little bit of a Solana summer that's about to kick off in full swing and a lot of people that are excited about it.
It feels like a lot of bit. Like basically the way that I kind of interpret it is, so we're going into June. We're like 8 months removed from the FTX debacle. So FTX debacle happens in typical crypto fashion. Everybody's ultra short-sighted and goes, Solana's dead, it's dead, it's never coming back, it's dead. It drops to $8, bounces back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, and now we're like 8 months deep into just consolidation of Solana activity, and you get a hyped up mint from Mad Lads, you get Claynosaurz doing the damn business, you get hype around Bodagos. I don't know. I think it seems
Feels
pretty.
good. It feels good. We were there at the $8 moment. I held a massive Twitter space for it. It was electric. We were live when Vitalik tweeted, "I don't think Solana's going anywhere. The community's too strong." And it
Boom.
God candle sent it from $8.40 up to $13 before a slight retracement. But literally almost 100% move off of the founder of Ethereum saying like, this community's strong as hell. And we had 2,500 people live on that space, just excited for the future despite where price action was. So, I mean, dude, I'm gassed. I'm so excited for a lot of the conversations I've been having and just a really cool tech that's actually being built in this ecosystem. I'm more excited for what we got rolling out. I'm extremely excited for the dogs soon here. So, I mean, dude, I can't wait. Like, I genuinely cannot wait.
Hell yeah. So besides the dogs, for June, we got Azuki and Beans Vegas party. We got D-Gods and Utes season 3. We got, so Memeland's meme is expected to drop in June.
That's the speculation. They dropped a Rick Roll. So if you're familiar with Rick Roll,
Right,
you click
yeah,
the
I
video.
saw that,
Yeah. And I'm going to wake you up. I'm going to let you down. That whole thing. They did that because it was like claim your meme token. You click the link and it popped up with like a bean doing it. Like one of the beans or captains doing the little dance, which is great. So people are like, holy shit, it's coming soon. And then on top of that, we got the captain's reveal is speculated for this month as well. So that's happening. There's a few other key things too, like the Ether mint got a lot of hype and speculation going down. Obviously, Ordinals right now are still seeing a ton of traction. Shout out ZK, man. I got to give that guy kudos and credit. It was so early in February on them. He dropped his Ordinal maxi business. I believe it was last month. They're up $50,000. So like insane run on those. Absolutely chaotic. And then you have just an army of people on ETH, Sol, and Bitcoin natives that are all excited about this. So a lot of big things kind of like running just for all chains right now. And it feels like the meme coin meta is slowing down. Now it's just people sending money to a wallet and like this has got to be the top, dude. It's got to be.
The biological stages graphics that you'll see in like biology books, the final
like the
stage
fish evolving all the way up into like a chip into a person. Yeah, this is like
the last stage is just send the ETH to a wallet and go away. Like that's the last stage is like just send the ETH to a wallet and shut up. What could possibly be the next thing? The next thing is like murder yourself on camera and leave me your private key.
Sorry,
publicly tweet your social security number and I'll send you tokens. And sure enough, I bet we'd see an army of them pop up on the timeline.
So before we're going to get into, obviously today's sponsor Ninjalerts in just a little while, like I mentioned earlier in the show, Ninjalerts is the only NFT analytics app
on today.
Yeah, Trevor's coming through. It's the only NFT analytics app that's compatible with iOS and Android. And you can sync your web and your mobile apps to take alerts on the go. The lifetime license NFT grants you unlimited access to the platform. So originally, Ninjalerts' main focus was basically like letting you know, hey, if Easy minted, Easy just bought something, Easy just minted something, or Nick just bought something, Nick just minted something. So it would give you basically notifications that would let you know when action was coming. So if there was like a hot mint or something, your feed would just go crazy and you'd see like Easy minted it, Nick minted it, Pranksy minted it, and it would just keep going down. That's still part of the function, but Trevor's got a whole lot of stuff to show us. There's a new user interface. They're absolutely crushing it. I mean, no surprise. So really excited to learn more about it. Before we get into it, on the Ordinal side, OXBT, I think 3 out of us 4, I don't know if Signal got exposure to it, but 3 out of us 4 bought it. What's the story there? Is that thing still going? That's basically a Bitcoin shitcoin, right?
Basically, yeah. The speculation though is that like you have 2 that are the main ones. Ordi, which was one of the first ones, it reached like a 200 million market cap, much lower total supply, and then OXBT, which just had insane hype and speculation on it, and pumped as high as like 30 cents. Now it has since retraced about 50% down to, and I'm taking a look right now, so do bear with me. Oh, it's at 0.17. So it's been holding this area pretty well, but the bigger thing is that a lot of people are waiting for potential Binance news, which has just been aggressively tweeting orange blocks, showing that there's a good chance, and they've openly said that they will be supporting BRC20s and Ordinals. So a lot of stuff like that, that's getting a lot of people speculating on what's going to happen with it, what's next, what's to come, etc. And it's why people are kind of like holding on to this and waiting to make moves. I did sell a little bit of it yesterday, and that led to me just capitalizing on the profit that I had spent across the board for it. So I'm riding most of my bag for free at the moment. So that's kind of where I'm at. And it's not too shabby. I do think that with BitGod, who's the founder, tweeting some very cryptic things and like playing into that, what we were talking about earlier in the show, the unspecified what's next has a lot of people excited. So anytime the guy tweets, still has crazy engagement, ran from 1,000 followers to over 100K in, I think, like 14 days.
It's absurd. The marketing he was doing for it literally redacted. It was like the black boxes for it. People absolutely were eating it up. One of the things I was looking at is Taproot Wizards. Is there anything on that?
It's gonna print, dude. Absolutely gonna print. It doesn't matter what's on it. It's like sub 1,000 inscriptions. Like Udi was so early to inscribe those that it was just a genius play on his part to now run with like this part and become like the main character of Ordinals. We saw what happened at the Bitcoin Miami conference. We saw that space on the Bitcoin show. Shout out PO managing that with what was the guy's name? Greg Foss.
Yeah,
I believe was the guy's name, going back and forth, and just the virality of it. I think that there's absolutely no way you can possibly fade Taproot Wizards when those drop. Like multiple Bitcoin floor is like in my honest belief, multiple Bitcoin. Like if they're 3 BTC, I would not be surprised even remotely, like at all.
And this is what, Taproot?
Taproot, yeah, Taproot. Because there's sub 1,000. Go ahead.
And then you've got there's some other coins coming up, which look like this. They could potentially cook. What's the best way to get on the allow list for these coins?
So the coins are really interesting, to be honest, because most of them don't have like allow lists. They're just on Unisat, and there's like a BRC section on there that you can just mint. The thing that I got screwed on was there was one called 10mm that was used to guarantee that they minted the 10 millionth ordinal, and I got fast gassed and ended up losing like $50 on it and didn't get the tokens. So like trying to figure out some of that, it's like basically throw 100 sats at it, which I think is like $11 or $20, something like that, in gas instead of like the $5. And you typically get it pushed through. But there's like, I will give Unisat this level of development's come a long way with Ordinals, because I went from having to personally emblem vault Bitcoin punks that I was OTCing with a Sparrow wallet. And like on a Sparrow wallet, if you put more than one ordinal in the same wallet, it blows up all of them. So you have to be like hyper conscious of like maneuvering this space and doing this. And now it's like way more user friendly. Xverse can put them all in there, does all the management for you, can handle Bitcoin. You literally just go on Unisat and there's like a mint button for new BRCs. I would say there's a few NFT, like Bitcoin ordinal projects I'm more interested in that are getting some traction. Like there's one called Ordies. I think I just got whitelist for it. They responded to me. I don't know yet. I got to double check. But I literally just like reached out and was like, hey, how do we get some spots for the community? Like, I'm interested in this because it's another BitGod style thing. Like, they post one tweet, get 400 favorites in a minute, and you're like, okay, the hype and speculation is here. And that's really what I look for. And Sig, I see you tune into the morning show, the 8 a.m. slot, and Manny just pulls up and drops all the BRC alpha. He's
Dude,
like,
when I come into your space, there's 2 things I need: earphones and a notepad, because Manny just drops all these coins. And like afterwards, sometimes I DM him. I'm like, what are those letters that you said about whatever coin that is about to drop? But like, this is like for me at least, this is the way that, you know, when people are asking what's coming up, what should we be looking at? You know, it's spaces like Easy and like the regular speakers who are on there who just rotate and then drop all this alpha about this is what's coming up, this is what you should have your eye on. You follow that trail and then hopefully like it pays off. So like the information is out there and it's all in like the best spaces.
What do you, 100%. I mean, it feels like late 2021 or even before where we were at with ETH NFTs, where you're like, people are just tweeting random stuff. It doesn't matter what roadmap they have. It's not like, hey, are they building a business or all like the high expectations we have for NFTs now. It's literally just, can they get attention and can I make money off of it? And that's it.
But the thing that you just said too, to me, I think roadmaps are the most overrated thing. They were everything in the 2021 bull run in 2022. But remember what got people excited. We sell out 80%. We'll use 20% of funds to sweep the floor. We sell out 100%. We'll raffle off a Tesla. I haven't seen anyone who won a Tesla. So like clearly those roadmaps never delivered. But nowadays, like the space moves so quickly and like what the meta is and what people are interested in, I think putting yourself in a box becomes far more difficult. Like that's why I'm a big fan of like the Pudgies and the Claynosaurs, because IP makes a lot of sense. It's like, how do we start to build and establish a brand and an interest to a wider audience? And then on top of that, create digital experiences with it, which is exactly what the two have done. They've done a physical to digital crossover where Claynosaurs is the IRL events, getting those. Pudgy's now doing physicals that you then get a digital aspect in a forever NFT. Like that's really interesting to me because that's using technology in a really cool way. And like we see a lot of these projects right now that have these ambitious goals and are rolling stuff out, but there's no product market fit for it. They're just like, yeah, people want this. How come nobody's using it? And it's like, well, did they really want it in the first place?
I feel like roadmaps is probably how like communist countries were run. That's how
I like that thesis a lot. Can we break this down further?
Yeah, like, you'd like show up to the office, like you're in charge of like grain production in like southeastern USSR, and they're like, so what are you up to today? Like what's your roadmap for the year? And it's like, well, we're gonna like whip the peasants going into planting season, try to get production up by like 15%. We're also thinking that we can probably, squeeze them a little bit more. I think they're stealing some grains. We're going to do that in July. August, we were thinking like if we don't have good rain, we could probably just accuse a bunch of people of being traitors and then bring them in and have them improve the supply. That's what I think.
This is like, yeah, that's a pretty good thesis, to be honest. I think you're spot on.
Yeah. But I was going to say, the thing about the whole roadmap thing is it kind of depends, like, also where the project is, because we're seeing so many projects from like back in 2021 who tried to deliver on their roadmaps but have failed, but they're older, so the expectations are higher, so then they have to deliver more. But I would be also equally concerned if there was a new project coming out and they said that they were going to do all the things that the current projects are doing, like the stuff like Pudgy's, and like, let's say it's an Ordinal. I'll be like, you're shooting for the moon. So it's like, it depends on the age of the project as well. Like when it's new, lower expectation, vibe for as long as you can, and just ride that baby
and just deliver stuff though. Like, don't say anything, and then if you promise nothing and give something, you're already blowing out expectations. Like that's
100%
clear path forward right here.
Yeah, especially in a startup too, because you just don't know what's going to change in the next 3 to 6 months. Like, you really shouldn't have a 2-year-long like set in stone roadmap when things can drastic. Like, do you think Frank D Gods had like, we're gonna mint like Bitcoin D God ordinals?
He literally just commented on that yesterday. Just commented on that yesterday and said it's good to have a finger on the pulse of the market because you can adapt quickly, which I even commented and was like, I'm in the same boat. Like, I just love to stay on top of it to figure out like what quote the meta is. Like, dude, he capitalized on the ordinals at a good time and got one of the first full blocks for that. But like, dude, no one's beating me. I got Bunny's Ape inscribed at sub 100K. So listen, who's got the BAYCIP? Okay.
Easy. Yeah, you were early though. You were early, and like so was Frank. But there've been other projects who've like done the ordinal thing or say they're gonna do the ordinal thing, and you're just like, why?
Like, you're now number 10 million and 5. Like, I don't give a shit about 10 million. What?
Exactly.
Get out of here.
So it kind of depends where it is.
Right, but objectively speaking, like there's
you're going to see great projects over 10 million, but it's the ones who are now like, we're going to bridge half of our assets to Bitcoin. And it's like, you're a little late on that trend. Like, if you were sub 100K, it would have been better because you don't have any plan on Bitcoin is the tough part, which, circling back to the OXBT thing, I think they have a plan for developing a Bitcoin. If you remember that Nick was able to mint efficiently on the app that they made. And a lot of people didn't realize that Luminex, they built that. And that's what a lot of people were like, oh, that's awesome. It's the first time you can actually whitelist a token on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously I'm a Bitcoin guy. I think the reality of it is there's significant provenance with the first X number of, ordinals inscribed, right? Of course, there's always going to be the fact that I did not know Taproot Wizards. You said it's sub 1,000?
I believe so.
That's insane. That's insane.
So.
It's also insane that this just happened like while we were like living through it. Like, it's just like, boom, first 1,000, first 10,000, first million. And we just like sat there and watched it go. It's wild. Anyway, thriving ecosystems and projects are going to be built on Bitcoin ordinals. That's 1,000% inevitable. But there obviously is more provenance for the earlier stuff, but that doesn't change that kick-ass stuff is going to be built. Michael Saylor just went on record and said that he's literally building on ordinals through MicroStrategy. So like, boom, everybody's all in. And the quote unquote, like the Twitter laserized maxi people are just slowly dropping like flies, capitulating. Peter McCormick, the host of the What Bitcoin Did podcast, which, look, it's not a bad podcast. I've listened to that podcast a lot. It was part of my Bitcoin journey. He tweeted, "I'm not anti-ordinals." And Eric Wall, who's the co-founder of Taproot Wizards, said, like, when did that change? Or like, he quote tweeted him. He had previously tweeted literally, "I'm anti-ordinals," and then he like responded with that quote tweet. And Peter McCormick was like, "Oh well, I'm not anymore." As soon as Michael Saylor's in, everybody in that camp is like, okay, we're all in, you know. So it's not going to stop. And the BRC 20 thing is really interesting. The Xverse wallet thing. Xverse wallet has only been like a mainstream thing for like a few weeks now. I love seeing this stuff start to develop. So we'll see where it goes. Clemente, you want to drop this free NFT on everybody?
Yeah, let's do it.
Drop it on their face.
I'm dropping this thing like a chicken wing. Today's password is 24 carat. 24 KARAT. Go to the nifty.com and claim that right now. That's the free NFT for today. We're going to go ahead and claim it live.
What's that 24 karat song? It's like 24 karat in the
Bruno Mars 24 karat magic
that.
is the record. Yeah. So
Great
imagine that playing in your mind. So can we zoom in on this description?
Yeah, right now.
Here we go. So
a little bit more.
Gold paved streets provide the prized path for any pair of paws. Dogs can only access the world of gold by obtaining the mythical 24 karat tag. A tag of such value does not come without significant cost.
Kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones a little bit. Like, you want to grab it, but is it a booby trap?
That's what
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah. You definitely need to have the bag of sand ready. And I feel like you might want to get this one. I don't know, but it has the word 24, has the word carat, has the word gold, and has the word value. I feel like this is one people should mint. I don't know. Just give me vibes. Give me
Will
gold
the hero of our story, Buddy, be able to obtain the 24 karat tag, or will the doggo deity guarding it end his quest? I don't know. I don't know.
People are saying they won the golden ticket.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Hey, you bunch of jackasses. They're all gold today. It's not a gold ticket. Wow. It's a gold dog
Like that
tag.
song, All Gold Everything, Pio.
I didn't even consider that people would try to pull that card. I won the golden ticket. All right. Everybody gets a bunch of money. Hey, we're sending everybody a bunch of money. Wow. That I should have known that was coming.
Legally, you have to say that was a joke. Else we got to send money. Yeah.
Legally, that's a joke. Cool. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, another shout out to.
Hey, legally, that's a joke. That's how my lawyers told me to give the disclaimer. Legally, nothing I said here is legal. Okay.
If you're talking about like
Cornell, dude.
talking about legality, look. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, don't seek out litigation. So check it out. One last shout out to today's sponsor. We got Ninjalerts, the sponsor. We're gonna bring him back on a different day for an interview.
That's super litigious.
He was probably up till 4 a.m. minting BRC 20s. You know, he's in the weeds grinding.
Yeah, no, they're going to come through on another day. We talked to them. But anyway, so you can elevate your trading with Ninjalerts. Look, out of all the products, the tools in the NFT space, and I'm going off book here. I'm just saying this off the top of my head because I'm a user of the product. The reason that I like Ninjalerts is it's not one that requires active use, right? It's passive. It's push notifications, right? You can get really active with it. Clemente has the user interface pulled up, and we're jazzed up to have them as a sponsor. You can get active with it, but the reality is the passive component of Ninjalerts is what's good, because the reality is a lot of NFT degens, look, this is not stock, like they're not stock traders. They're not doing technical analysis. They're not looking at indicators. They're not analyzing charts. They're kind of like, just freewheeling in the NFT market, which is fine. It's part of the market. It's what makes it fun. It's what makes it attractive to people. And as a result, getting push notifications that give you essentially validation of the legitimacy of a particular product or project is interesting. If all of a sudden someone buys 25 captains or something, and that's a wallet you follow and they've done really well, then you might want to take a look at captains. It's a high priced example, but I'm just throwing it out there. So look, on the Twitter show, we got the tweet pinned with the link to Ninjalerts. So make sure that you take a look at that. Check out Ninjalerts. Again, it's a great product. They're the first sponsor that we ever had on this show. Trevor's my co-host on the Bitcoin show. He ain't going anywhere. He's deep in NFTs and crypto. So just want to bring it up. Go ahead.
If I may say something really quick, this year I've actually had 0 original ideas. I've copy traded every single trade I've made this year. Ninja
Is this
Alerts.
true?
Yes, 100%, dude. I haven't had an original idea yet, and I don't care because I still made money. That's the whole thing in this space. People think you got to sit there and you got to like close your eyes and like wait for like an awesome trading idea to come to you. No, you can get all of your trading ideas just from seeing what other people are doing and what trades other people are making. That's what Ninja Alerts allows you to do, is you can literally feed in some wallets. You can, instead of spending your time trying to magically manifest an amazing trading idea, why don't you go back to the go to O'Peppins at 0.15 and 0.2 and say, hey, who bought here with size? Find their wallet address and load it into Ninja Alerts, right? And then have a Ninja Alerts that is a bunch of people that are known for making great trades. And then when those things ping, you can copy trade. And that's what I've been doing all year, and I'm up.
Absolutely love to hear it, Nick.
There we go. Ninja Alerts. You know, they keep.
There you go. That's that Kicks Ninja sound. Shout out to our sponsor of today's show, Ninja Alerts. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Thanks for listening. The show is also available on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Make sure you go to the nifty.com, claim today's free NFT. It's pinned to the top. Also connect your Ethereum and Solana wallet in preparation for Bodogos. It's going to happen before you know it. Anyways, we'll be back tomorrow. Share the podcast with your friends. Thanks for listening. And we love